Casey, there's a lot of buzz around the words generative AI in the market at the moment. Now, to level set, what is it and how does this build upon just AI?
So, Kevin, great question, and a question I've gotten from basically every client I've had the pleasure of spending time with over the last 3 to 4 months. We don't have enough time here to go through all the detail, but fundamentally what I would say is where I see really the power of this new Gen AI capability, especially within our clients within the energy sector, is the ability to not spend so much time as we have in the past on collating data and training models for every discrete use case. This used to be a significant hurdle to gaining value out of AI in the previous models, especially when we think about conversational speech to text, text to speech. This was a really challenging hurdle for our clients to cover. Now we can leverage pre-built models that basically have expansive capabilities, point them at a data set, and quickly drive value. I mean, we've moved from weeks and months to hours in terms of capability now, which is really allowing, I think, a more expansive view of the value of this technology for our clients, because there were so many questions of how do I get value? How long will it take before I can prove? Now it's a very quick turnaround. And then that allows as well for our clients to pivot quickly in terms of use case, prompt tuning, and other sort of capabilities to say, okay, that didn't really get what I wanted, but if I do this, what do we get? And boom, they can find value much faster. So that really is the step change. And then of course, there's 1,000 more capabilities that LLMs and or Gen AI will drive for us. But when I think about really the early use cases clients are focusing on, they're finding value very fast as opposed to some of the challenges we had in the past.
Now, you mentioned the opportunities there. A lot of them are short-term, faster time to get in an answer. Is there also some longer term? You're not training it every time, as you said.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great way to kind of position the discussion we're having with especially our energy industry clients around the usage of Gen AI. Is where can we get started quickly to drive either quick wins or to start to build an understanding within the organization of how to leverage the technology, what considerations around governance, data, security, and these sorts of things, because these are new motions for a lot of our clients. And then we move towards training or fine-tuning models that they have with prompt tuning or better collation of data sets. And then there's sort of over-the-horizon type use cases that I think will have great value for our clients, but we aren't necessarily at a moment where that technology is ready to be applied. However, I know a lot of our clients are looking for what's sort of coming down the road in, let's say, the 12 to 18 months range that can fundamentally change some of the network functions that we drive, as opposed to some of the more, let's say, quick to value use cases that LLMs can provide around customer, HR, and those sorts of potential, I wouldn't say back office, but internal, easier to apply LLM use cases. So we definitely see a phased approach here of start with quick wins. Obviously, every board and CEO is looking for a story and for an answer as to what we intend to do as an organization. And then as well have an appreciation for what's coming down the line, because that drives decisions in governance, data security, et cetera, audit, now to be prepared for those more advanced use cases as they come down.
Now, to make it a bit more real for folks across utility customers you're working with, can you give any real life examples of how they're using generative AI already today?
Sure. I think that there's some consistent themes we're seeing in discussions with clients recently. Certainly around the customer space is one of the easier places, because we already had before Gen AI the application of chatbots and other AI tools, conversational AI, in that area. So I think for a lot of clients and their CISOs and boards and others, it's a somewhat easy step forward. But certainly there's a step change in performance and value with the usage of Gen AI in that area. So I'd say that is one area around customer interaction. And as well, when you think about customer, there's always external and internal customers. So utilization within HR, or one place we see, obviously, with the IBM footprint of Maximo across our energy footprint, the usage of, starting to look at how can we leverage Gen AI with interactions between field force workers and staff, back home in control centers or in the corporate offices to help field force workers to drive value faster in the tasks they're trying to do. And then, there's a concern about bringing enterprise data out right now, and a lot of clients we're talking about. And so leveraging public data sets, but applying the value of LLM or Gen AI to them. As an example, regulatory or rate case type discussions is a place we see almost every, specifically in the United States as well. Every client is looking at that because it's a very onerous task to understand how to prepare their response to a rate case in the Public Utility Commission, as well as understand what others are doing that they can potentially benefit from. And all that data is public. It's just getting it and then applying and tuning the models to be able to drive value out of it. So those are two examples. And then lastly, I think there's an interest and an excitement about how these models could potentially be leveraged within more of the operational OT space. That again is when, to reference the earlier discussion, I think that's more of the 12 to 18 months. There will be capability there, but it's something that I think we're looking at experimenting with and driving potentially some POCs.
Now, IBM has its Gen AI offering through watsonx. How are you differentiating yourselves with that?
Yeah, so we're really excited about this platform. And I think that specifically for our clients within the energy sector, we have a really differentiated or powerful value prop when it comes to specifically governance and data around the application of LLMs and in the broader Gen AI discussion. So our platform is built within, we have three platforms within the platform of watsonx, and those are specifically .ai, .data, and .governance. And we designed it specifically understanding what the capabilities will be required as clients move towards enterprise scale production use of LLMs. So quickly, .ai is the collation and application of AI models within workflows. Data is basically the ability to go and create, not by creating one-off data silos or data swamps, but create collated data sets to apply LLMs towards. And there's a much bigger value prop there than we have time to go through here, but really powerful capability there to understand where enterprise data is and then apply models to it to get the output you need. And then lastly, most importantly for, I think, energy clients is .governance, which is built all around understanding what is in our models, how are our models behaving, what is driving the answers or the actions that the models are coming back with, and then how do we ensure that we can detect bias, drift, and other concerns with governance around the application of these models. That is a consistent theme I'm hearing from CEOs, certainly chief counsel, and others within our energy clients is saying, I'm excited about this, but I'm concerned about the audit implications and how we can be able to explain clearly why we chose action, why we drove with a certain decision. And so when you think about the ethos around that platform, the IBM philosophy around Gen AI is really around four key tenets, which is open. It's our focus on there will not be one model to rule them all. And I think all our clients will need to focus on leveraging many different models for different use cases to get the output that they want. Trusted, critically, we need to know what went into the model we built or are using, and we need to trust what comes out because that drives explainability. And again, when you think about the audit function and governance, really important. Targeted, meaning we want to be able to take we want to be able to take the models and target them at what we know will be client value and critical client value, right? I think there's a lot of ideas of just go use them and see what happens. We want to drive more of a rigor around this model for this use case for this critical outcome. That's really the focus there. And then lastly, empowering. We don't see this as being a model that replaces 100 workers. It's all about every employee in our clients becoming better with the application of technology to have sort of a step up in their capability and their value organization, not a replacement factor. So we feel very strongly about that. Christina Montgomery is our VP, focused on this within our corporate function. We have a huge team, and we're trying to lead from example as to how we bring this technology into organization ethically, responsibly, but then also driving really important value.